You're listening to the WCEG Network. We are the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. You can log on to WCEGTalkRadio.com or you can watch us on Smart TV, Roku, cable channel, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and now on Fanbase and Blue Sky. Good evening. I'm William Bill Edwards, your host for Wisdom Wednesdays. As we're still recognizing and celebrating trailblazers during Black History Month, I thought it would be appropriate to bring to the forefront one who is very comfortable in the background, but has taken tremendous strides in the media industry. I bring to you the queen of digital media, Miss Pennye Rogers, President and CEO of WCEG Digital Net Media, Evangelist, and Shepreneur. That got me there. That's a new word, isn't
it? No, it's not new, Bill. It's not new.
This evening topic is a seat at the table. How are you doing, Pennye?
I'm wonderful. How are you this evening, Mayor? Mr. Edwards. I'm speaking it into existence.
I got you. You are what is it now?
Shepreneur.
Now that's like a shero.
Sort of like I'm just a business. I'm a businesswoman, a shepreneur.
Oh, excuse me. Then I like that. I'm gonna steal it, but I'm gonna give you credit for the first time.
No, I didn't invent the wheel.
After that, I'm gonna take it on my own. Okay, let's talk about you. How did we get here? How did you get a seat at the table?
Wow. Mr. Edwards, Bill, if I may call you Bill.
Sure. That was my daddy. Go ahead.
Okay, Bill. Okay, no. But it was one of those type of decisions that had to be made when you are not invited to the table, as our great Shiro and former congressional woman talked about. If you did not, Shirley Chisholm, that's why I am. When you're not invited to the table, you bring your folding chair or you create your own table.
Because they say if you're not seated at the table, you're on the menu, right?
Right, one or the other. Okay, amen. Correct. That's correct.
Yeah. So go ahead.
But it was one of those decisions that was made several years ago. I was invited to be a show host at another digital media company. And each time we were supposed to get started, it went out the window and we kept delaying it. And finally, a couple of us that were show hosts decided we can do this. So we did this. And this has been since 2013. And from there, the rest is history.
Well, it is history, and you've done a great job. And you started off kind of small at first, right?
And yes, very small, with the soundboard with only 8 channels on it, and then we graduated to a 16-channel soundboard.
So you're telling me something I've never seen a soundboard. I don't think.
Okay, well, it's the device that you use to connect all of your input and output to get your sound to go into this box and then out into the world.
Sure. Well, tell us about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm a Georgia peach.
All right.
Been here all my life, traveled around the world, but it always brings me back home to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Went through the Atlanta public school system.
Which school?
Turner High.
Turner.
The B package. Yes. Henry McNeil Turner High School is my alma mater. We are celebrating our 50th class reunion this year.
All right.
Yes. And from there, trade school, business school, and out into corporate America for 15 years. And after I left corporate America in 1989, I never looked back.
Mm-hmm. What did you find the need for what you're doing now? How did that fit into a need for you and for the community?
Well, to start off, we generally have to listen to mainstream media, and the news is always so negative. You rarely get a human interest story or something positive in the community, but it was always negative.
Mm-hmm.
The who shot who did what, and anything negative was going on through mainstream media. And I wanted to be a different type of media company to bring positiveness to the community, to empower, to inspire, and just to let the community know how great we are and we are doing great things in the community.
And that message is so important that we get out. I find myself not looking at mainstream news and things of that nature because, some things I just don't want to hear about. Some things aren't even important.
That's right.
We got a lot of things going on down here now that's not really important. And so I won't fill my life up with that stuff.
Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to be different. I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing. And also the worldwide media, the worldwide network, the worldwide community could be empowered, because we all, no matter what walk of life that we're from and that we're striving to get to, we all are going through the same challenges. Whether no matter what your ethnicity is, no matter what race, no matter what geographical location you are, we all go through some of the same challenges. And whether it's mental health, whether it's health, traditional health, whether it's education, we all are going through some of the same challenges. And so I figured, why not speak to the worldwide community other than just my community?
Mm-hmm. What has been your biggest reward in having that seat at the table?
The biggest reward is being able to be at the table to make decisions and that would impact now and our future. Because when you're not in the decision-making process, you have to take what's given to you or take what's thrown out to you. And I feel that if you are part of the table, knowing that you are able to be a voice for those that are invisible in our community, you're able to pretty much help make decisions for the better that would accommodate and would assist others that were not invited to the table or will never be invited to the table.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. That was my next question to you. How do you bring other people to the table, and especially African American women? How do you prepare and bring those to the table with you?
And that's and I'm glad that you mentioned, I didn't know that it was going to be, when you were introducing me, I heard the word trailblazer, because there were several before me. There were ancestors' shoulders who I stand on, but being able to give women a seat at the table when women are not invited to the table or have to create their own table, I feel that I do believe that we're able to be heard. We're able to have a voice, and for people to take us seriously, because, just think only a few years ago, women were allowed to vote. Women were allowed to have their own credit. They didn't have to have somebody else's name attached to theirs, a man, a husband, or some female, some other male, but you can have your own. And I do believe that by us coming to the table, bringing ideas, making decisions where women's lives or livelihoods are involved, it gives us an opportunity to be heard and to help other women along the way. Sometimes I feel that you get excited about women being able to move up in the world, but sometimes I feel that during the course of you moving up, you cannot forget about your African American man, and you can't forget about your American friend, family. And absolutely,
sometimes I think that we get so involved with what they're doing that it seems like it's me against the world. So how do you avoid that, thing about doing that? Well, it's all about family, and it's all about community. And since other people, other races, other powers that be, they tend to, especially in the African American community, because I can't speak for the other communities, but in our community, there has always been that goal of others to separate the family, the African American family. I think about
I know slavery has been years ago, hundreds of years ago, the civil rights movement and other movements that have taken place, but others have tried to break our family apart. And it's not, and then sometimes they will try to put the women ahead to leave the brethren behind.
Right.
But I think if we stick together as a community, so when I come to the table, I bring us all to the table. Yet I still have a voice for women, for African American women. I still have a voice for our brethren, our children, and the family structure. That's what it's all about, keeping the family together. Even though women have had to carry the families when our men folk were taken away from the family, whether it was incarceration, whether it was the wars, whether it's no matter what we have been faced and challenged with, our women have held the family together, but we still need our men folk to help keep us together and keep us strong and keep our family strong.
Well, you know, it's great you should mention that, and you talk about the brethren. And there's a thing now, even in the political arena, that you want to run for an office. If you're running against a Black woman, your chances of winning are very small.
My.
I don't particularly like that kind of thinking, but some of our sisters embrace that, and I think their chances are been elevated because there are Black women.
Well, you know, a lot of times women are pitted against each other. Women are pitted against the brethren. Women are pitted against just society. And sometimes that leaves a bitter taste in some of my sisters' lives and some of their mouths and some of their thought process. But for me, I think the more you try to pull me away from my community, away from the brethren, away from my family, the harder I'm going to hold on to them and look out for them. But some people, or just some women, have become bitter. They do not have, I think they lose hope sometimes and figure that they have to fight it out with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when we work together and let each other know that we're here for one another, then I think that will help ease that hurt, ease that separation that society has put before us.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about community for a moment, in terms of what you're doing and how you're being landmarked in this whole media thing. How do we go back? How can we go back and reach other folk and educate at a younger age from WCEG? Did I say it right?
Yes. Yeah, you got it right. You got it right.
Yeah. And begin to educate folks, younger people, to coming into to their seat at this table.
I invite all ages through the intern program that WCEG has had since pretty much inception. We have an intern program where we will train you, bring you to the table, invite young people to the table, starting at age 6 to 96. Anyone in that age range, we can talk to you and allow you to talk to and train you to talk to the worldwide community from your worldview, no matter what age you are, no matter what generation. You know, we have our different Gen Zers and millennials and, you know, the baby boomers and all these other different generations, but we train as early as 6 years old. You can sit up in your chair, you can put on a headset and a microphone, and we ask you questions based on your worldview, according to your age, what's important to you, your school, your education, your friends, your family. We ask you about all that, your church, what all that means to you. And we invite everyone from starting at age 6 into our worldwide community.
How do you get the message out about that?
Well, it started off word of mouth, but then as we were growing in the early days when we first started, we're now into our 10th year, but as early as after the first year of WCEG inception in 2015, we started our intern program, and we get the word out word of mouth. And we also have a website, WCEGtalkradio.com, where we introduce you to our young people. We have a platform for our young people, and we just train them. We go into schools, we go into career days, we even go to after school programs, and we do various work within the community to let them know that we're here and what we can do to help to better our children at an early age. We don't wait until they're teenage or wait until they're adults. We open the door as early as elementary school, grammar school.
Positive media is always good. I mean, there's going to be a time where you have some negativity.
Absolutely.
Media. Over my years, I've learned that you have to be, I won't say careful, but you have to be, they look for sound bites.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And people wonder why somebody said that, but they didn't play the rest of the tape. I think that's a little bit disingenuous for people to do that, but it happens. What do you feel about if you're going to do the news? Let's make sure that we get everything in so people can hear and they can judge from that.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct, because anyone can report the negativity, the negative side of the news. We all can do that, and we do allow for the negative to be mentioned. But then, what are you going to do about it? What type of resources are we going to make available for those problems or issues that are in our communities or out within the world? We can talk about it for a moment, but talk about the solution. What resources, what information are you going to give to your audience, to your community, to get them to understand that there is help? We can work together to work the problem out. We'll talk about it, but we don't linger on it, and we keep it in the forefront to understand that there are solutions out there, and we're going to keep working at it until we get it out there. Well,
you do a good job of that. It's just the fact that, let me just talk about, some time ago, there was a saying that bad things happen because good people do nothing.
Amen.
And so many people now have just turned their backs. It's like, I got friends who tell me, I don't listen to the news anymore. Or I'm off of Facebook. Or I'm off of those types of things because I just get tired of the content.
Amen.
And that bothers me, but it's nothing you can really do about it because, they own the media.
Yes.
And so getting off the Facebook and stuff, what are your feelings about that? You can't hide from the news. You're going to get it somewhere, even if it's word of mouth.
Absolutely. And that's why there are so many various platforms that are out there. That's why the digital media is an alternative to the mainstream, where you turn on your television and have to hear and see. And if you're only limited to just those that are the mainstream media, you're always going to get the same thing. Mm-hmm. But you can't run away from you. I want to know what's going on in my community. Yes, I do. But I want to also know the good things that are going on. Don't just talk about what's wrong. Let's talk about what is going right and how we can even add to that to help educate people about going into using your digital media, using your internet. You have your YouTubes, you have all of the social media platforms are not negative, but if you don't use them or use your devices, you don't have to sit in front of the television anymore. Mm-hmm. You can use Alexa, play WCEG Talk Radio. You can go to your YouTube. You can go to the new different platforms, because they say Facebook is for old people. So I guess I must be old, but there is a new platform out there, Fanbase, that is African-American owned. And I use that now. I'm also on Blue Sky, which I came off of the Twitter platform, because those are so I want to say negative platforms, but I try to go to different sources. All of it is not bad. You have Threads, you have Instagram, you have LinkedIn, which is a business platform. So we put our product out there over all platforms. We have podcasts, 12 distributors for podcasts. So there are ways that you can stay away kind of from mainstream media and sitting in front of that. Some people call it an ignorant tube, but I think all of your different outlets or educational, and it all depends on your content. And WCEG is here to inspire and empower and educate. So what better way than to tune into WCEG Talk Radio?
That's a good.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Years ago, when I was a commissioner, this whole concept came up of what is called now Next Door. All right. And when it first came to fruition, it was an opportunity for communities to speak on what they're doing good, how they're doing it, just to kind of converse with each other. Now, it's kind of like Jerry Springer.
Drama. It is.
It is.
That's why I logged off of it.
Yeah.
It's a good way to keep the neighbors and neighborhood informed on what's going on. But like you said, it started off as a positive platform to get to know your neighbors and your community. But now, and I know they are putting out information there about different non-pleasant things that are going on in the community, but it's a little bit dramified for me. I'm just saying, I'm not talking about anybody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. But I do know that there's a lot more negativity going on than they're using it like some of the other platforms. And with the negative information going out, but we should be spreading positive information, educational information. We should spread resources that are going on in the community.
Well, let's talk a little bit about clear, precise communication. I have some issues with that sometimes, especially from local governments who have communications departments and things of that nature when they send out their news releases. Just recently, problem with it. They don't really tell the whole story. It's kind of like we've done this and we rejected this, but they don't show how they got there, how they got to that point of time. So they think they have I think they really have a kind of warped sense of what they think people are going to communicate with or how they think people are going to understand. So that's why the positive and direct positive communication from whatever it is, be it a local government's communication department or whatever the case may be, it needs to be there. And so we know the only thing we have to, as a citizens, the only thing that we have to do is depend on you guys to give us that kind of, I don't call it pride, and give us that kind of reassurance. So words are powerful.
Amen, they are. That's why we want to speak life. We want to speak life. We don't want to speak death. We don't want to speak negativity, because you receive what you hear. We are trying to reprogram our thinking. And sometimes what the saying goes, you have to hear something 30 times before it can change your mindset. And so that's why year after year, for the last 10 years, we have been putting out positive information, inspirational information, and something to empower the community. Because you can get negativity anywhere you go. You don't have to even leave home to get that. But if we are going to speak life, we have to be consistent with it. We have to be precise with it. And we have to be, we just have to make sure that this is what we put out there every time we come on the air. Speak life, speak life, speak life into the community. Consistency.
How do you get over the, when you talked earlier about the Gen X's and things of that nature, should the message be consistent where, regardless of what generation you're in, that you can understand it, or do you supposed to taper it down to that generation instead of having a universal message?
It's a combination of both, because no matter what generation or no matter where you are, issues are going to be the same. I mean, you're still going to have the same problems. And so what we try to do is we give the young people a voice to reach the young people of their time and their generation, because sometimes they don't want to hear us old people. They don't want to hear the mamas and daddies and uncles and aunties and grandpas and grandmas. They don't want to hear what we have to say sometime. And if you give someone in their own generation a voice, then they will draw in that generation. They will draw in that age group. They will draw in because the problems that they encounter are the same ones that we encountered when we were their ages. And we have to stop making sure that we do not make young people think that they're the only generation that's doing things. We did certain things that just was not an internet or other sources that tell on us what we got into at our ages, but the internet is there now, and we have to let them know that they have a voice and we hear you. We let them know that we're listening. And if we bridge the gap, that's what WCEG is doing, bridging the gap between the young people, the generations, and the next generations and the next generations. We're coming together. We have show hosts that from our Millennial Talk and Generation Z, they come in and they invite other show hosts, such as we mix the shows together. The young people invite the seniors invite the young people, and we all play a role in having a voice on each other's platforms to show that we are working together and we hear you. We hear you.
To give you a classic example of that, I did listen attentively to the Super Bowl halftime show.
Okay.
What was the rapper's name?
The other guy. I know who you're talking about. I'll tell you in a second. Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar.
I listened to Kendrick Lamar. And my first impression was like, these have got to be the worst halftime show I've ever seen. But let me tell you what happened to me. I was on TV one day, on one of my social media platforms, and there was a guy who explained it to me, as to what was going on, how he was doing. And the message was great.
Absolutely. Yes.
Then one guy said, thank God for his closed caption. Yeah. So
because I was having to read also. I'm with you.
Yeah, because you could, I hear him singing, and I'm like, okay, this is all good. But so much symbolism that was associated with that performance. So that's why I asked the first question about how do you bridge that gap? Because had I not heard him and he broke it down, I was like, wow, this guy's a genius. So
and the imagery that went out, just knowing that the colors represented the American flag. And the message, he was going so fast with some of it, I couldn't understand it. And I was trying to read the closed caption as well. But I think for the most of it, most people came to the Super Bowl halftime looking for entertainment. They were not looking for a message. He did it quite well once I understood, because I had to come back the next day, and it took me a day and some research and listening at commentaries and someone young to break it down for me, because we were looking to be entertained. And I guess that's the problem that I have with some of our things that go on in society, some of the problems in society where our people were only used for entertainment, the song and the dance. Right. But if you can go back, though, and think about some of the messages that were given to us, even during our slavery, even during civil rights, certain things we couldn't say publicly for fear of losing our lives. And we had to go back to think about some of the slave hymns and songs and things that we sang that the others that were over us did not understand what we were saying. We had our own language that we used. We had our own way of communicating. And so knowing that we were looking for entertainment and we didn't receive that, a lot of us thought that was the worst halftime show. But then once the message got out there, was relayed and broken down to us. And so you said that you received the message and you understand where he went, where Mr. Lamar went with his message. And it was a very powerful message. And so I was just glad to know that. First, I thought it was just me, like, what is he saying? What is he talking about? Because I was looking for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get a song and dance.
And
we got a message.
Yeah. And then if I didn't get it, being African American, the other thing was, mommy, I know they didn't get it.
Okay.
They're not like us.
But they had someone to interpret for them as well. And I'm quite sure the message was not received. Oh, you know, when you don't want to, when you, like some of them had closed caption as well. I'm quite sure they had some young people around them as well to help interpret where where Mr. Lamar was going and where he went. And even our generation, Samuel Jackson, he was Uncle Sam, okay? Mm-hmm. So I think the message went across, they got it. Some of them may not have liked it, and even some of us didn't like it. But once I understood what his purpose and what the message was, right on.
I did same. I mean, once I heard it and someone cleared a lot of things up for me, I thought it was one of the greatest halftime shows.
Absolutely.
That we have ever had. And sometimes media, they kind of get you off point. For example, in the same halftime show with Serena Williams, yes. You know, like, what are you doing here? And then but what came out of that was from the media was she was trying to get back at her previous boyfriend, Drake.
It wasn't even about that.
It wasn't even about that.
It wasn't even about that.
They not like us, had nothing to do with Drake at that day.
Right. But you know, and I'm glad that you mentioned that too, because if you go back in history when she won one of the Wimbledon titles or one of those tennis championships, a big match, she did that dance and she was fined and almost was thrown out of the tennis world because of the dance that she did. But that was part of her heritage. That was part of where she came from in Compton. So it seems like, you know, it was almost kind of like when she wore her cat suit on the tennis court, where there was another tennis player that wore an all-white cat suit, but she wasn't criticized or talked about or made to look negative on the world's platform. But when Serena wore her black cat suit, that was a problem. Mm-hmm. So it depends on who's doing it and who's doing the name calling and who's calling out people because it's something that they do not like, or you bring that negative light onto a platform that it shouldn't have been a negative. It shouldn't have been a problem. She's a young woman. We all got a little step that we can do. I know you do your little step sometime, okay?
Yeah. It's called the two-step.
Yeah.
Listen now, words are strong. Hers is called the Crip Walk.
Absolutely, it was. But she has a platform that can bring the Crip Walk out of there, but she's not living the Crip life. Mm-hmm. See, just because people associate that with gang and gang banging and killing and whatever they want to associate it with, it's not what you call, just what you answer to. Mm-hmm. And so if you are in a positive light, I mean, it's even that way with our ball players. The guys can't celebrate in the end zone. They're going to be fined. They're going to have fouls. I mean, flags thrown or something negative comes out of it. But if other people do it, it's okay. Oh, let me stop. You don't want me to go there. I'm trying to keep it. But just think about it, though. When we do it, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. When we do it, it's a problem.
Well, we have a lot of talk shows where you have guests on the mainstream media, especially in sports, that kind of have the opportunity to say things and do things that people hear about other people, right?
Right.
And so Stephen A., to call a name.
Okay.
They give you what is quoted as their opinions. But their opinion sometimes, shines a bad light on the person they're talking about. I think it's a responsibility of media when that happens, and they don't come back and try to straighten it out the next day. What they do is they wait for a response from the person that they're talking about, and then now you got a mess going on between the two. And Serena and Stephen A. got something going on there. It's kind of like, when there should be an opportunity that if you're going to say something about me, then I need to be there to refute what you're saying.
To defend myself, that's correct. But that's what it's all about, the controversy. It's all about the ratings. It's all about how you can get people to respond. And it's life is only 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond. Mm-hmm. And so if we have people to try and stir up the pot, so to speak, or stir up the stuff, that's all about the ratings, and that's all about having controversy, and that's what get them paid. Like the reality shows, the more drama you bring, the more ratings you get and the more money you make. But I believe that we should really let people live their lives. You can have an opinion, but opinions are like, I won't say what I've been told that opinions are like. Yeah. Everyone has one, okay? And I think, though, I do believe that we should support one another instead of tearing each other down. But you can speak your truth. You can say what you want to say, but you speak your truth. Don't try to speak my truth for me, or allow me a platform with you and we can talk about it.
Mm-hmm. So the thing about it is, when you talk about ratings, ratings and money, which one, are you going to put out a negative platform because of the money?
Some do.
Are you going to aspire to put a negative platform, a positive platform out for the good of the people? Well, I'm sure that most of the mainstream media and others would rather do it for the money.
And that's what some people are after, the money. They chase in the bag. And if it's kind of like what we see in a lot of our arenas, whether it's political, whether it's educational, no matter what arena it is, no matter whether it's healthcare, you have some genuine people that are there for the people. And then you have those that are out for self-gain. And that's why it's important what seat you're willing to take at the table.
So since you've been in this business, what do you think, how have you prospered, in not terms of financially, but how have you prospered in terms of your vision and what you intended to do in the first place?
And what has transpired, I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams. I knew what I wanted to do because I was looking and listening at the other platforms out there. Mm-hmm. And I knew that the rate that they were going, I kind of didn't want to be a part of that particular platform because some of the talk radio that I was hearing was very negative. They had profanity. They were just all over the place saying any and everything. And I didn't want to be a part of it, really. So I'm glad that it didn't work out at the other platforms that initially invited me to come on. And I was like, I can do this. Mm-hmm. And what I did and what God allowed me to do, because I'm going to give all the credit to God, give the glory to God, because the vision came from God. You can do this. And the people and the type of talk radio that I wanted to go out to inform, to empower, to inspire, to educate, I wanted it to come from people that I know that live that life. Mm-hmm. And the people that, such as yourself, and we have resident psychiatrists, we have educators, we have traditional doctors, holistic doctors, we have all walks of life, veterans that have served in wars, we have activists, we have all types of platforms that can educate and empower people that do this every day in their walk of life. Every day that they live, they eat, live, and breathe this. I got together with each one of them and handpicked and asked them, what you do on a daily basis, what you do for your work, what you do for your passion, what you do for your community. Would you like a platform to come on to talk about it, to help someone else? You may never meet that person. That person could be on the other side of the world, across the pond, as they say. They could be right here in the city with you, or they can be across the state or across the nation. But will you use your expertise to be able to do something positive and to help grow and to help put WCEG out there? And in the meantime, and in the same time, we can work together in helping each other. You have a skill, you have a trade, you're educated, you have whatever it is that you bring to the table. I will allow a platform. God gave me a platform, not for me. He gave me the platform to give to others, to do what you do so the world can hear you and you can help the world. We can help each other. And that's what the genesis behind WCEG, how it all started out. But never in my wildest dreams that WCEG would become the network that we are. We started off in 2015, coming up. This will be our 10th year. But within the first 5 months of doing our first broadcast, we had over 500,000 listeners. And before we reached the year mark, the following year in 2016, we were already over 1 million listeners. And it just kept growing and snowballing and growing and growing and growing. And it was like I even had program directors and radio station owners with terrestrial radio, which is the radio you can turn on in your car, some of your power stations in every major city, FM, AM stations. But they were asking me, how do you keep people tuned in? When we put talk on our platform, people turn us off because their ratings would drop. But I said, well, what are you talking about? So I wanted to get topics and have conversations based upon people's needs, people's issues, community problems, and offer resources to tell them you can go here for help, or connecting the resources with people that need them, and vice versa. So that was the major difference in how WCEG platform expanded and grew the way that it did. And I've never been able to catch up. My feet not hit the ground, has not touched the ground since that time, because we took off and God has kept sustaining us, and I did it God's way and not my way.
So if I'm Joe Blow on the street and I've been listening to your platforms, and I decide, I think I want to do something like that, and I find you and get to talk to you, what would be some of the do's and don'ts that you would express to a person that wants to be a part of your show?
Well, what we do, we are open to anyone to bring ideas to the station. That's the purpose of having a seat at the table. You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to have a certain type of education or an Ivy League school. You don't have to have this or that. It's what you can bring from within yourself that you can share with someone else. I've been there, I've done that. Don't take the route that I took. And so, to answer your question, we are open to receiving different types of dialogue and conversation, topics and opinions. And I would tell a person, we're not a Christian radio station, but we have Christian values. So if you can have a conversation with me to leave out the profanity, every now and again, it slip every now and again out of some of our guests and our hosts, it'll slip, but we don't make it a ritual to use 4-letter explicits or some other negative, and two, you can have an opinion about someone. We can disagree, but we don't have to fall out with each other because we have a difference of opinion. So I would tell a person, if you have an idea for a show, give a sister a call. Call me. Our number is on our website, WCEGtalkradio.com. Our email is there. You send me information as to a show description or what you would like to discuss or talk about. And then we can go from there and seeing if we can make a platform happen, or we grow that platform for you, to give you a voice, to give people that may have gone or that is going through what you're going through, or have had challenges similar to yours, that you might can offer some insight or invite guests to be able to help them navigate through their issues, navigate through their problems.
Yes. I remember when I was first asked to come to WCG, and the first thing I said was, well, I would do it, but I don't, because I am a person who's been in the political process for a long time. but I didn't want a political show.
Right. And Wisdom Wednesday, I love it.
Wisdom Wednesdays came up, and since then we've been trying to bring people on that give us information, like yourself and others that do things. And I shared that with my boss, Dolores Baskin.
She's a good boss. Oh, okay, go ahead.
So we try to. Sometimes I come up with the guest. She comes up with the little title, or I come up with the title. But usually I'm just coming up with the guest. But we try to make sure we stay on that platform. I hope that we have done that kind of job for you.
Amazing job. With your background, with your expertise, and wisdom has nothing to do with age either, okay? Right. But you have been in the community, you work for the community, you have been there to help make decisions at the table for the community. What better person to bring than a Bill Edwards, former commissioner, former mayor, soon to be again mayor, but anyway. But really though, but I'm just looking at what you have to offer, and the young people love you. Mm-hmm. You're all at these schools or the games, you're involved with the young people. Mm-hmm. So you help build the bridge between the generations. Mm-hmm. I'm just not saying this because you're one of the good show hosts. All of you guys are exceptional, but what you brought to the table, and I was honored for you to accept the invitation. Mm-hmm. And it didn't have to be about politics because we already had someone in the political arena, the People's Choice, but the guests that you bring on are community-based, community-oriented, from all walks of life, all educational lives. And I mean, you have had some exceptional guests. You talk about men's health. You've talked about community, just whatever subject or topic that Ms. Dolores comes up with. But the wonderful guests that you bring on, your personal doctors and physicians and people of the community that you've built relations. See, it's all about relationships. People call it networking, but it's a difference between networking, partnerships, and relationships. And you've built relationships, strong relationships over the years. And why not have a platform where you can bring those people on board and you all can collaborate and talk about the different things that you have worked on over the years and how they can benefit the community even right today, no matter how many years ago that you have had that relationship with them. And thank you so much. I'm honored.
Relationships mean a lot of things. I believe in one philosophy, that is, an educated community is the best community that you must have. I think a lot of the stuff that happens in our municipalities is because of lack of knowledge as to what's supposed to be going on. And then when you're at that stage in life, then comes what I would call the lies. They always say a lie can go around the world before the truth puts its pants on.
It will spread like wildfire. But when the truth comes back, I've heard it put this way. I've heard a guest or two, or even a few pastors say that you can put a lie will travel just as fast as a wildfire. But then when you have to come back and retract that lie, it's kind of like you get a bag of feathers and put it on a doorstep. And those feathers will not stay there because the wind will take them away, right, in an instant. Mm. But I feel your apology, I feel that your apology should be just as loud as your disrespect, just as loud as your lie. So if you told a big bald-faced one, you should come back publicly and apologize. That to me is a bigger person. That to me is a person that wants to be better. And that's to me that a person that is truly extending an apology other than just mere words, giving lip service out of their mouths.
Well, I had people who have come to me to be on the show, and we just didn't feel that because of what we try to achieve with Wisdom Wednesdays, that I would tell them sometimes that, well, we have other shows. You might be better off on one of the other shows.
On another platform, right. There are different platforms for
you might, so, you got the media and you got everybody, so you may be You may not be good with me. You might be good with
But
me.
see, but that's where the wisdom comes in. Some people want to do it for ratings. Some people want to do it for for popularity. They want it for all the wrong reasons. But that wisdom, you know, the type of platform that you want it to be on. And I'm quite sure if we were doing some of the things that some of these other platforms do, I don't think Bill Edwards would want it to even be a part of our family, our team. I'm quite sure, because I wouldn't want to. Some of the places and people that have invited me to come on their platforms or to partner, I have people offering me money. Oh, I can give you this. I can be a sponsor. I can, some money I don't want.
Yeah.
And I don't want the association, because you will be, trust me, judged by the company that you keep. Ooh, let me stop right there.
No, I was talking to a young lady today who's aspiring to run for a political office. And the first thing she asked me was, can I use you as an endorser of your name and picture? And I said, well, honey, first of all, it's too early to be talking about that.
Okay.
And secondly, be careful about endorsement.
Absolutely.
You don't want somebody, because you put a list of names on there and somebody's going to see a name and say, oh,
I don't want to be bothered with them.
She's supporting that one.
I don't want to be supported. But you know what? You made an excellent point too, because you know the old saying goes, he who pays the piper calls the tunes. And when people figure they're giving you a few coins, you got to do what they want you to do. You got to jump through hoops. You got to do what they, oh Lord, we're not talking about that. And this thing that's going on now, where your highest donor, your highest person that donated to you or your campaign or whatever it is that they donated to or gave you money for, they running the show. And if you don't do, oh Lord have mercy, I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to make this political, but it happens in all arenas though. It happens in a lot of arenas. And so I did not want to be controlled by anyone. We do what we want to do. We have the same or similar mindsets, the same character. And I do not want to be affiliated with anybody that's not doing the wrong thing, because that will bring a negative light to this platform. Our platform. It's just not my platform, but it's the community's platform. And if we wanted to get away from the negativity from mainstream media, then why go into that same boat? Get back into that boat or jump out there with the sharks if we're going to do the same thing that they're doing or have that same reputation as they have. I want us to be different. We need to be different. We need to be who we are called to be.
They're not like us, huh?
No, they're not like us. No, they're not like us.
I try to in selecting people, I try to make sure I get people that ordinarily you wouldn't be able to talk to one-on-one.
Right.
For example, the shows with all my doctors, all right? I'm sure people have their doctors, but you know, just to be one-on-one, to ask a question or whatever. Now, not one doctor that I had on the show tried to gain a client.
They did not. They came on, but from what I'm understanding, they already have I won't say enough, but they are already full to the hip already.
Well, they got a big client base, but you know, I'm sure.
Right, but it's about what the purpose of the platform was for, and to talk about our men's health. I hope that we can repeat that again this year. We don't have to wait to Men's Health Month, but I think that having that opportunity and not just waiting for our medical doctor to come on once a month. When she comes on, Dr. Babs, to come on about, you know, she's a family doctor and she talks about different challenges in our African American community. But for men's health, I thought that was a very good taste and very good touch that you put on your platform, Wisdom Wednesday. Help our men to understand, get yourself checked, go to the doctor. If you don't have a doctor, get a doctor. It may not be this doctor, but get a doctor. See about yourself and stay here so you can help lead your family, lead your community, have your children, be in your children's lives when, you know, live to get old, to be in your children's lives, to help keep that wisdom going from generation. Let's transfer those things per generation Instead of the generational curses, let's pass on good things through our generational transfers. And that's what we need.
Well, you know, my boss, Ms. Baskin, she heard. I'm sure you can rest assured that you will be getting that, you know, from Wisdom Wednesdays as we go forward. Probably change a little bit as we go forward to give a little bit more of a voice to our kids. Try to get into a point where they can enjoy who I have and how I have, and they can ask questions and do
absolutely
that nature. So we're excited about what we've done. I've been here. I don't know how many years I've been there.
Oh wow! Has it been 2 years, 3 years, going into our third year? I think.
3. Boss says 3.
You're right. Oh wow! See how time flies when you're having fun. But when you're doing what you enjoy, and there was a question that came in, I wanted to let you know that, but there was a question that was asked on social media about, do you see your radio television network or interviewing going into the community events? And we do. I don't know if some of our audience may not be familiar, but we do community remote events. It doesn't have to be in the political arena, but we do things for fun events, for family and friends and community events across Metro Atlanta. We've even traveled away from the city of Atlanta to be able to do remote events that we do through our network as well. So the answer to the question is yes, for those that ask that question, but we do go and travel. It might cost you a little bit, though. We have to have expenses paid, but we have an invitation to go to Savannah, and I'm hoping that will manifest for a veterans conference. And so we do different things. We go into different areas of Metro Atlanta for different events that we're invited to, and we even live stream those events as well. And the same way that we offer our intern program for our young people starting at age 6 to 96. We have something for everyone, I believe, in our platform and on our platform. So thank you. And like you always tell us, I know you're going to end the show momentarily, but I wanted to use some of your words that you always use when you close out, and all you're get understanding. So for those people that were trying to come on board and wanting you to bring them on board, wanting you to interview them or wanting them or to sponsor your show or to whatever, we want to make sure though that we want people to understand our mission, our goal, and what the end result will be, because we will be responsible. We're responsible for each other. So thank you. Thank you.
I want to say to you, you are the queen of our digital media.
Thank you. I'm wearing my invisible crown, okay?
For seeing the vision of what you wanted to do and accepting your place at the table. And I know that this vision is going to grow larger as time goes on. So I just want to say thank you to you and allowing us to come on and do our thing, on this platform. You've been great.
Well, so have you. I'm trying to keep up with you, Mayor. I'm trying to make sure that I'm following in good footsteps. I'm trying to keep up and do what's right for the community, do what's right in God's eyes. That's who I'm trying to please first, is God. So I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, I almost had to go to start preaching. I'm glad I didn't have to have another mic here, but I'm an evangelist as well, and I try to do what God will have me to do. And I think that I do believe that I'm walking into my purpose. I do believe that I'm doing what God has ordained me to do. And I want to thank you for being a part of our WCEG family, and you keep up the good work.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
And Dolores too.
Okay, we've had the queen of digital media today on our show, and we want to thank her for all of the courageous things she's done and actually occupying her seat at the table. So Pennye, we thank you so much for doing that.
Well, thank you for bringing me. Thank you for inviting me to the table. Okay.
Absolutely. At least you're not on the menu.
Amen. Amen.
Okay, you can download our free WCEG mobile app, or you can simply get Alexa to say, play WCEG Talk Radio. The topics and opinions are those of the show hosts and guests, and not WCEG Network. Listen to WCEG on any of our 12 platforms, And of course, she's announced 2 more, that was Fanbase and Blue Sky, that's been added. So once again, we thank you for your support and in all you're getting.